Hey, Wichita, we are back with another episode of Coffee Break. I am your host, Officer Chad Ditch.
I'm your co-host, Officer Trevor Macy.
And, man, we are both with the Public Information Unit, and it has been an extremely busy weekend.
It was
we
for
are back,
you.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Back here on a Monday after the weekend.
As we say every week.
Yeah, I see you're growing a little beard, man.
Yeah.
Preparing for the winter?
Growing the stash back out, but it always looks weird when I just grow the stash out. So I'm adding a little beardness to go with it, and then I'll shave that off and leave the stash.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
So what'd you do this weekend?
Worked the wind surge games.
All of them?
Yeah, all except. Well, I worked everything last week except Thursday night, and then I worked Town East Saturday.
Man, you just been a busy part-time working guy.
You were busy too.
Yeah, I
was
on
call this weekend.
I was, yeah. My mom came down. She wanted to see her grandbabies before school started and stuff. So we went to the wind surge game on Saturday.
I met your mom.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. She was like, "Is that your co-host over there?" And I was like, "Yep." So she said, "I want to meet him." Okay, let's go meet him, Mom. So
we met. It was glorious.
Yeah.
Hope you guys had a fun time.
We did, man. It was hot and muggy at first, but it was cool because they were giving out wind surge steins and everything.
Yeah.
So.
That was a cool night, too, because we had Stewie out there.
Stewie was out there.
Throwing the first pitch.
Yeah.
Well, Stewie didn't throw the pitch.
Yeah, for all the haters.
Officer
yes.
Larison threw the first pitch. Stewie probably could have thrown the first pitch.
I bet he could.
Just so we're clear. He just gets a little camera shy in front of the crowd there.
Larison did a good job with the pitch. To me, being a baseball player and a catcher at that, she was a little outside, but it was pretty close. I mean, the way that umpired that game, he might have called it a strike.
It was the best because there were 3 pitches that game, 3 first pitches, and I think her pitch was the best one by far. And they had a Stewie baseball card.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. So if anybody got their hands on a Stewie baseball card, I think we got a photo of it. I don't know. Yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look old
smiling
Stuart.
Face.
That's awesome.
We are so proud of you, Stuart, and everything that you've done in your short time here at the department. Can't wait to see what Stewie does.
Right. As a prior dog handler, when you have these big demonstrations and stuff like that in front of large crowds, what the number one thing that you're worried about?
The dog pooping.
In front of everybody. Yeah. So I'm sure that's how Officer Larison was feeling. But yeah, he did
probably
good.
Just like walk him incessantly before an event.
Yeah, you probably
just
make
to
sure
make
he
sure
takes like 4 bathroom breaks before you go out there. Yeah,
just go.
Yep.
Do not go in the stadium.
Yeah.
Although that would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. Like, what would you do as the handler?
I would just drop the leash and walk away.
No, see, I would probably cheer on the crowd or something like that, man. And just come on, let's give it up for Stewart. Yeah, so
that's funny. Oh, Stewie, what a guy.
So the wife and I, we also after the game, we went and watched The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
You're telling me about that,
bro.
That's
had me shook.
It's a good movie. Very disturbing.
Yes. Yeah,
but
it is a rated R film, and it's a
I don't take your kids
film.
to see that.
Yeah,
it's horror, but it's not scary. It's just creepy and suspenseful.
Yes,
and it was definitely a solid watch.
Yeah,
definitely. I was impressed with it.
Definitely,
I enjoyed it. We had the Broadway Corridor team golf tournament this weekend too, didn't we?
Yes, man. Those guys did a phenomenal job. They had a lot of people donate. I think they had over 80 players participate in the event.
That's awesome.
And they raised over $9,200 to benefit the Special Olympics. So that's dope, man. That's a lot of people forget when people put on these events. I mean, they're doing this months in advance, or going out reaching out to people, looking for people to sponsor holes and donate and stuff. So a lot of legwork went into that, I'm sure, from all those guys on the Broadway Corridor team. So thank you to everybody that donated. Thank you to everybody that sponsored a hole. And you'll see some cool photos up on our Facebook.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of donations, you're wearing a special shirt today. Can you talk a little bit about this shirt, because it's really, really bright?
Well, yeah, you definitely need earplugs and everything because it's really loud. But I chose to pick the color pink, man. I'm a guy that likes to wear pink. But no, this shirt is for Officer Gum. It's one of the shirts that you could purchase to help benefit him and his family. So
we've got a link on our Facebook page too, right?
Link
so
is on our Facebook page.
Shirts.
It's pinned right up on top. The benefit dinner is this weekend. So
Saturday.
It is Saturday. Yeah,
this Saturday.
So check that out. It's also the link will take you to the Honors Adversus Foundation, and that's where all the information is out there. So.
What's the back look like?
Well, I got a big back, bro, so I don't think can they see all that?
We can see it.
So it's a really large bear because it's on me, but
we talked about the bear with Detective Gerald on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
So but the whole really shirt is designed. It was designed by his daughter and stuff. So
very cool,
man. It came in the end of last week, so I was like rocking it on the podcast, man.
Heck yeah, man!
So I'm excited, man.
You gotta wear it on Wednesday too.
Yeah, because we wear pink on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays we wear pink,
bro. I think I wore pink 3 days last week.
Really?
Oh yeah, pinks and blues. I kind of like
it. Up at the pink game.
Yeah. I think one day I wore pink with my blue suit, and I just looked like I was going to like a gender reveal party.
That's awesome.
They were giving me crap at the Comstack because of how sharp.
I've never understood gender reveal parties. This is gonna get probably some hate mail, but like, do you really need to throw a party for that?
I mean, some people get excited. What I don't like is what they're doing is they're faking out the moms and dads of the gender reveal. Like they get to the end and like a pink and a blue one comes out. So then the parents are like, "Am I having twins?" And then they're like, "No, actually go to the other kid, like big brother or big sister." And then that one's like that reveals it, or there might be 3 or 4 steps on it and stuff. So.
What in the world? Do you remember? Was it a couple years ago? Somebody set a fire that burned like millions of acres and homes. It was a gender reveal, and they used fireworks. It was out in the desert somewhere, and it caused this massive wildfire. Jeez. And I think they got charged.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, like, people lost their homes.
That's
it was
unfortunate,
intense. Like all because of a gender reveal party. Yeah. So people just keep it
I like to see
keep it simple.
Yeah, but I do like seeing the ones that are like kind of catchy and everything. Like do something different.
Well, Officer or Detective Gerald did one where he pulled somebody over, right?
Yeah, Well, that wasn't a gender reveal. That was to let the guy know that he was going to be a dad.
Okay, see that. So that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, but then you have ones like that are risky, right? Where one of the parents is like a softball player, and the reveal is when the parent will hit the softball. So they'll toss the softball up. Well, now you're really that's 2 parts there, right? You got to hope the person throwing the ball throws it accurately, and then you really hope the person swinging the bat hits it,
right?
Because when that thing hits the ground, if you miss, then that's kind of like
just all your paint glitters all over the baseball field at that point. I don't know that I would ever do a gender reveal party or anything. I'd go to the doctor and they'd be like, yeah, here's what it is. I'm like, okay, cool. Text everybody I need to text.
See, the last one I went to was they had the cake pops, pink and blue, right? But the interior would be opposite, I think, of the cake pop on the exterior, right? So if it was blue, it'd be pink on the inside or whatever, something like that. So that was kind of cool, and I got the one that revealed the gender, so that was pretty dope. But that's it.
I got distracted there because I looking around the room and I see a silhouette of your pink shirt everywhere I look. Like it's like burning into my retinas.
I didn't expect it to be this pink, but I love it, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's awesome.
I did the same thing with when we had shirts made for Kyle last year. So
you got a pink one?
I got a pink one there too. So
very nice.
Yep, very nice, very nice.
Speaking of very nice. That was a nice segue.
Yeah, man.
We have a very nice guest today.
Yes.
Sergeant Brian Mock with the WPD Traffic section. He's going to come in and talk about some traffic stuff.
Yeah, big traffic guy.
Yeah, he's been doing traffic like basically his whole career. So we'll bring him in and see what he has to say.
Yeah. And real quick, I'm going to cut you off. But
cut me off,
Chad. For everybody that's always like in the comments or messaging us and stuff, or commenting on Facebook about traffic stuff.
This is for you.
This is for you. You will get some questions answered. You will learn about why certain things happen during traffic
investigations.
Couldn't think of that word. My bad. So, but yeah. Well, very, very knowledgeable guy on traffic. So,
we'll get a refill and we'll get him in here.
And we are back with Sergeant Brian Mock. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good.
Appreciate you joining us. Know you're super busy.
Yep. Everybody's always super busy, though. So.
That's true. That's true.
It's a busy department.
So, and you're not going to hurt our feelings at all, but we ask this to every guest that we have. But have you seen the podcast?
I have watched a couple episodes. I haven't watched all of them.
Hey, that's
better than
most.
none.
Yeah.
Better than none.
So the podcast is set up basically so we can allow the community to get to know the officer, the supervisor as a person, as opposed to just the uniform. So tell us, who's Brian Mock?
Well, I've been on the department about 24 years now, just passed my 24th year. Done a variety of assignments. Obviously started in patrol where everyone does. Mm-hmm. Spent the majority of my time as an officer. I spent on nights. Probably did in total 14 years or so working night shift. And then I kind of, throughout my career, I've kind of specialized in traffic, not necessarily the enforcement side, but more like the investigation side.
I gotcha.
So I went to some training to learn to be like an accident reconstructionist. So when there's a really bad accident, we'll have a trained team to go out and work those cases, because usually the stakes, so to speak, are a little higher. You get charged with a lot higher crimes when there's a fatal or a death involved in the traffic accident. So I did that as an officer for a little while, and then I became a detective. I worked in 3 different spots in the detective section. Okay. Our accident follow-up section, so the detectives that file those kinds of cases. Mm-hmm. DV sex crime section and the gang unit were the 3 spots that I've worked at. And then I was promoted to sergeant, went out to the streets again, worked afternoon shift this time, which was a big change from nights, because the sun's out and
there's a lot more people
out driving.
Yeah.
So I did that for a couple years, and then I came back into the traffic world, and now I supervise the detectives that are doing the job that I once did.
Okay.
Very cool.
Is there what made you choose that in your career as far as that specific area?
I'm not really sure. Because all through college and high school, I mean, I never did a lot of math and physics and whatever. I kind of took the basics, My bachelor's degree is in criminal justice. Okay. And so that required college algebra. Yeah. And I waited till my senior year to take that. Right. So I never really saw myself as someone that would mess with physics and trigonometry and all these other things, but I started to work them. I had a friend that was working on the critical accident team, and he talked me into coming in and working it with him. And I guess I kind of found a niche. Not for everybody. There's a lot of math and physics and stuff involved with it, but I kind of found a niche, and I just stuck with it.
There you go.
How long does it take, that process, from like getting the call out as a CAT team person, and then working through that to completing that accident? How long does that take?
It can be quite a while, depending on what you how complex the case is. Mm-hmm. So not just because there's an accident where somebody is critically injured or dies doesn't necessarily mean that's a criminal event. It could just be an accident, and those take a little bit less back end work for us. But if we have one where somebody's intoxicated or impaired driving, or there was some reckless driving or something like that, that's going to raise those charges up. Yeah. And conservatively, it can take us 3 to 4 months to do all the back end work, inspecting the vehicles, doing the mathematics and stuff that we have to do with it, downloading the vehicles, all those kind of stuff. So, and my detectives do all of that on their own. Like, we don't have the lab. The CSIs don't come out and do that for us. So it's the detectives to do all of that with.
So I get a lot of questions from community members. Like, let's say you have the situation where it's a single vehicle accident. Person just runs off the road. They're intoxicated. They hit a house. Not a whole lot of damage. I know hitting a house sounds like a whole lot of damage, but kind of just like kiss the house a little bit with their vehicle, and then that person ends up not going to jail. Can you tell us why situations like that happen, and maybe put a little bit more perspective to it, I guess?
Well, so like we talked about earlier, sometimes an accident is just an accident, right? Like, so, in the accident reconstruction world, we tend to refer to them as crashes or collisions more often. But sometimes truly a crash is just an accident, right? There's no reckless conduct on somebody's part, or there's no impairment or something like that. And then we may just handle that as a normal traffic wreck, just like we would if you just rear-ended someone going out to the store or something, right? So there should be, on wrecks, when somebody is found at fault, there always ought to be some sort of enforcement action. Right. But that could just be a ticket. Yeah. Now, sometimes when it is a more critical accident, that person may not go to jail that night, depending on the circumstances. But that doesn't mean that it's not getting handled on the back end. So, it's kind of one of those things where if we book somebody into jail, we're statutorily required to charge that case within a certain amount of time, right? And because there is so much technical work involved with accident reconstruction, then that technical work we may not be able to do within the time frame of that statute.
Or even like wait for like blood draw results.
Right, blood draw results. We do have the vehicles inspected by a certified mechanic that'll go to court and testify for us. There's a lot of electronic data in the car that can be downloaded that we have to normally apply for search warrants to get. Yeah. There's other people to interview. There's videos to collect. There's just a lot of the back end work. Yeah. And a lot of times the people that are involved in some of these critical wrecks, they're not necessarily like a flight risk or someone that's posing an extreme danger to the public. Yeah. So we are able to take that time to make sure that we're doing the case correctly in order to get it charged appropriately.
I gotcha.
What do you guys see over there as like the number one cause of wrecks in Wichita?
So we're talking just regular wrecks or just.
Well, let's do regular wrecks and then kind of your more serious ones, I guess, if that's how you want to.
So they will tell you, like, you hear a lot of times that the number one cause of wrecks in Wichita or even in Kansas is inattentive driving. That's kind of a catch-all thing. So that may or may not be true. Inattentive driving is kind of like, hey, you weren't paying attention and you had a wreck, right? So certainly that causes wrecks. But if you're looking for something more specific, more wrecks are caused by intersection violations like running red light or improper turns, those kinds of violations, or excessive speed. So everyone always asks what's excessive speed mean? Well, that kind of depends on where you are, right? So you're up on a highway, 10 over isn't necessarily excessive, but if you're in a school zone, 10 over is excessive, right? Or in a neighborhood or something like that. So it's kind of dependent on where you are, but everyone can agree like 100 miles an hour, no matter where you are, is excessive, right?
Just a bit.
Well, not on a Daytona 500 track. That's a little slow.
That is pretty slow, yeah.
And speaking of, sorry to interrupt you. Speaking of wrecks and collisions, I know the traffic unit is always doing enforcement to try to mitigate collisions. People on Facebook always give us grief about the traffic unit because they're road pirates or they're revenue generators. Can you talk about kind of the correlation between traffic enforcement and car wrecks and collisions?
So not studies like through us or whatever, but just nationwide studies. You can get them through NHTSA or National Highway Transportation Safety or other places. They will tell you that effective traffic enforcement does have a relation into stopping or lowering wrecks and lowering critical and fatal wrecks. So what the traffic unit tries to focus on is dangerous driving habits, right? So you'll hear people talk about, well, I got a ticket for doing 4 miles an hour over or something like that. I don't think there's very many people that are actually getting a ticket for doing 4 miles an hour over, but that's certainly not what we're focused in on, right? So the things we talked about, intersection violations, impaired driving, excessive speed, those kinds of things that we know that are factors in causing wrecks, that's what we should be focused on. So, it has far less to do with revenue generating, but, the government, no matter what level you're talking about, they have two ways of correcting behavior, right? Like we can put you in jail or we can fine you, right? And so nobody thinks that for going 10 over, anybody needs to go to jail for that, right? So what's left to us? Fines. So that's kind of the difference between, it's not really revenue generating, but that's our avenue to correct behavior.
And I think it's a big psychological thing too, right? Like you can't go through Eastboro without knowing, like, hey, I need to go 20 because it's been instilled in your brain that you can't speed through there. You can't go 25 there. You're going to get pulled over, right? It's the same thing if you're on Kellogg or on the I. You shouldn't be speeding regardless, right? But we know people are going to do it. But you get in certain areas of Kellogg or certain areas where you've been pulled over before, you know, like, I need to watch out for the police because they're going to be running radar. But that's a way for you to enforce that even when you're not there, because people will slow down and everything like that. But what do you say to the ones that get upset at the motor unit that's sitting on the sidewalk running radar?
So our motors have to be safe where they're enforcing traffic, right? So, we're allowed to sit in places like we can sit in a no parking zone to enforce traffic or something like that, right? Or we can sit, on the shoulder of a roadway where you're not supposed to leave your car to enforce traffic, right? So now if you see a motorcycle just parked on the sidewalk for no reason, then that's one thing. But most of the time, those guys are there because they're trying to enforce a traffic violation, and that's the safest, most effective place for them to be, right? And we're not doing damage to the sidewalk. We're not driving down the sidewalk except for the short amount of time that you need to get there. So. It's just, sometimes, like when I was a night shift officer, I'd be pulling up to a call that I knew was, active or something was going on, and I didn't want to see someone approach me. So I turn off my headlights, right? It's kind of the same thing, right? So you're trying they're trying to do their job as safely as possible, and sometimes that does mean sitting on sidewalks or up on a median or something like that. So you go to Kellogg and Broadway, which is one of our high accident intersections. Well, to watch those lights, we're not going to sit in traffic where they're likely to get hit or be impede the traffic coming through there. So they're left with park up on the median or park over here on the sidewalk. So safer for everybody if we're just out of the way and still trying to do the job.
Absolutely. I always wonder when people comment things like that, like, what do they want them to do? Do they want them to sit in the road with their lights on, blocking a lane of traffic to run?
Which isn't safe for us or safe for them. Right. Because then you're causing traffic back up too. So
absolutely. And you kind of taken over a little bit of the Facebook as well regarding traffic. So you were one of the ones, or you were the one, I should say, that posted the LiDAR results, right? With all the guns of everybody going 90 plus on Kellogg and everything. That was a great post because it shows everybody in the community, like, hey, this is what traffic is enforcing, and this is actually what people are doing on Kellogg, because people see it. You can't be on Kellogg and see somebody speeding through. So I thought that had a great reaction from the community. A lot of them were positive and everything. You said some people that were hating and everything.
There's always those salty people.
There was somebody that commented about them not cleaning their radar screens.
Right.
Like they had some dust and whatever on them. But the thing with that post was that was all collected. I just came up with the idea. I told them to send me some pictures. Those were all collected within a week. So that wasn't something that I had to search back a year to find. That was all collected within a week. If we wanted to do something where I said collect for the month and we can post the highs for the month, we would have even more of those.
We probably should start posting that every once in a while.
And I think you guys have one coming up August 30th, going to be at Kellogg and Rock, enforcing the same thing as far as running stoplights and watching intersections and stuff too. So if you're listening or watching, you better put that on your calendar.
Warning.
I bet we still get the same kind of numbers.
Right. And so, when we do those enforcements at like Kellogg and Rock, or we just recently did one up and down Broadway not too long ago. We're in places that we know we have traffic issues, right? So Kellogg and Rock, to no one's surprise, is a high accident location, right? A lot of traffic, a lot of accidents that happen there. And, we know through research and through our own data collection that's caused by signal violations and improper turns and things like that. So we're not just indiscriminately picking out locations to go and enforce this at. We're targeting the areas that we know we're having problems with. Right. So.
And that's awesome, because you posted there's 4 major intersections where there's problems. I think some were Kellogg and Seneca, Kellogg and Broadway, Kellogg and Rock, and I think maybe
21st and Woodlawn. So I picked one out of each of the 4 bureaus, the top one in each of the 4 bureaus.
That's right. That's what I did. Yeah. So one thing I always forget when I'm on the podcast, I remember afterwards, I should say, is that I live downtown right now while we're building a house and everything, and people always forget that if you're on a one-way, you can make a left-hand turn on a red onto another one way.
One way to one way, you can.
Yeah, that gets me every time. I'll be like, hey, man, you can go.
Yeah.
You can go.
A lot of people, I think just in general, people don't have a lot of experience with one-way roads, and then you get thrown into downtown Wichita where it's like every other street is one way. I grew up in a small town, and coming to Wichita, it was so confusing to me at first when I encountered these one-way streets.
I used to joke about that you got the county designation up in on the top left of your tag, says Sedgwick County or whatever county you're from.
Yeah.
I always thought that you ought to have certain counties where we don't have one-way streets or not very much population. We ought to ban them from driving on one-way streets.
Yeah, right.
Like so, you have to have a metro tag in order to navigate downtown Wichita or something.
Right. Yeah.
Do you guys have? Because I get like a mild case of road rage every once in a while when I see certain things happen on the highway. Do you guys have traffic pet peeves that you were willing to share?
Oh, mine is biggest thing and I'll say for Wichita is if you're eastbound on Kellogg from the I and you come up to that Grove hillside where everybody's coming on, everybody's getting off, everybody always goes like 40 miles an hour when they're coming from Grove going on to eastbound Kellogg, and it just makes a big traffic jam right there. And I'm like, guys, let's speed up. There's this whole zipper effect where everybody comes in, moves
zipper
out.
merging. If everybody knew how to zipper merge, the world would be a better place.
See, that's what I was going to bring up too, because it's going to be controversial because people don't like it. They always want them to get over into the lane as soon as they see road closed sign.
Yeah.
But the traffic engineers designed that so that people can go all the way up to what they call the choke point, which is where the lane is shut down, and zipper merge in, and they know that's faster than just everybody lining up in one lane and having one big long and trying to block the person that's coming up on the other lane.
So fun fact, when I used to work out at ECP, I lived in Hayesville, and I would come in through on the I, and they were working on that part of the highway right there that's just west of basically Pawnee, or the old, what's the old, oh my gosh, drawing a blank, the old roller coaster stuff that we had here.
Oh, Joyland.
Joyland, right next to Joyland. They're working on that bridge. So it would be one lane, and traffic would be one lane all the way back to darn near hydraulic. And I'm like, guys, we use these two lanes until we get now, like you said, near the choke point. But you would have people that would like purposely move over to the left lane so I could not pass. Yeah, man, that I'm like, hey, you guys need to learn the rules.
They just don't want to get along on the road. It's like we lose our sense of humanity when we're in a car.
Wait in line like I did. Well,
seems like road rage is getting worse and worse though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So it seems like people are just more impatient as a whole.
Yeah, but it's a smartphone. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, it's
TikTok. It's that darn TikTok.
It's the TikTok. That's the tickety talk. So Captain Nicholson, your boss, he said that you have knock jokes.
No,
but he said you were pretty good, but
they're not really knock jokes. I kind of tell dad jokes, but see, you didn't give me a heads up, so I don't know that I have one prepared right away. Right?
That's my bad. That's my bad.
Have them like just right there, ready to go all the time, Chad.
Well, Cap made it seem like you were just going around telling jokes every now and again, so I figured.
But I have a source material, right? So when I was a Patrol South supervisor, I would tell jokes before squad, or sometimes we do trivia.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone has access to the Interwatch now, which so people can read the Interwatch and whatnot, and we talk about whatever we need to talk about, and then we'd end,
with the
trivia or something.
Yeah,
right?
You do Interwatch trivia, or
no, just like general trivia. Okay. So sometimes it would be, a lot of times it was sports related. But just because it's easy to find, and I think a lot of people can answer it, at least in our profession. But I did world geography trivia one time, and that didn't go over quite as well.
So well. Yeah, didn't catch on.
That does remind me, though. You know what the best part about the Switzerland flag is?
What?
I don't know, but it's a giant plus.
It's a big plus. I knew where he was going with that.
All right.
Do you ever do Star Wars trivia down south?
Oh my gosh,
because Chad would have lost that.
Yeah, I never did, but if I'd known that he was a Star Wars hater, I would have brought in some Star Wars trivia.
See, I'm a big hater. That's why we can't have Lieutenant Lang, because he's got I don't even know, it's a helmet.
It's a stormtrooper helmet, Chad.
There you go.
He's got that, and he's got a whole full-blown Mandalorian.
Yeah, I heard he's got a Mandalorian costume. We need to get him on the podcast.
Dressed like that.
Yeah,
he could do for the first half.
What are you wearing? Was this some sort of space costume?
That's when he transferred from South to West. His last night there, he came to squad dressed as the Mandalorian.
Really?
Had a whole soundtrack as he walked in the room and everything.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I guarantee you could probably get him to come in here
I'm jealous because I really want a Mandalorian.
I don't think Tyler would allow it. Our producer, because he's a big Star Wars hater too. So
we'll get a new producer that day.
Yeah,
I'll have Nolan do it.
Well, we also play a game on this podcast, and Trevor got it together today, so I'll let him go with the spiel of the One Has to Go.
So we play a game called One Has to Go.
I already said that.
And you just said we play a game, and I'm going to take over. So we'll put the items up on the screen. So there's 4 items that you have to choose. One of them goes away forever. So today is National Relaxation Day, if you didn't know that. So I picked 4 relaxing activities, at least relaxing for most people. We have watching TV on the top left.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's eating
I thought it was like eating chips.
He's eating chips and watching TV. These are like the best stock images I could find.
Gotcha.
Top right, we have getting a massage. Bottom left, reading a book. And then bottom right, listening to music. One of these activities has to go away from your life forever.
That's super easy, right? So even though the top left one with the guy eating the chips and on the TV doesn't look super healthy, that one can stay mainly because the Oklahoma Sooners play on TV, and that's how I watch them play, right? So I gotta watch the sports.
You're
not giving up books. Books are important. And
books are important.
I try and read. My goal is to read 2 books a month is my current goal.
Dang.
I'm a little bit behind this year, so I got some catching up to do.
There you go.
So that's not going. Now, I assume he's listening to a podcast on the bottom right.
He's listening to Coffee Break.
No,
yeah.
That's
our number one fan right there.
Podcasts and audiobooks. I listen to some music, but usually when I have headphones on, it's either a podcast or an audiobook that I'm listening to. The top right there with the massage, gone, because that involves people touching you, and that's not like that, right? So I had one massage that my wife talked me into one time in my life, and that was the worst thing ever, and I'm never going back to have a massage.
Every one of them like deep tissue massages.
No, that's massages are out.
Man.
Not relaxing at all. So if one's got to go, that's it.
Man,
what about you?
I like music too much to get rid of that.
You couldn't have got a TV for the guy watching TV?
Dude, I literally just typed watching TV. No TVs were featured. It was all just people sitting on couches, and that guy had a funny looking face, so I figured I'd put him on there.
Have a funny face. All right, bro, what are you picking?
I'm getting rid of, this is it's going to make me seem really bad, but I'm getting rid of the books.
See,
I can't go without the others.
See, and you made a very valid point, and I'm getting rid of books as well, because my wife always pushes for my kids to read. This summer they got $50 if they could read a book in 2 weeks, and it had to be something at their age level and stuff. And I spent a lot of money because they read a lot of books, but I just don't have the attention span for it. I will be reading, and then the next thing I know, I'm on. You ever been driving, and the next thing you know, you're like 10 miles into it, and you have no idea how you got there. That's how I am with books.
I have to go like 3 pages back, because I'll get 4 or 5 pages through a book, and then I'm like, I get in my head, and I'm like, oh man, what did I just read?
So you just need more practice. That's what it is.
Practice.
I do like to read, but if one of those has to go, it's reading, because I can always listen to the audiobook.
See, but that's harder though. Listening to the audiobook, I think, is harder, especially if it's like a nonfiction book where you're trying to learn something or retain. Fiction books, you just kind of have to kind of loosely keep track of a plot, but nonfiction books you kind of have to pay more attention to.
I like audiobooks though, because I can multitask, and I can work out and listen to an audiobook and still like retain the information. It's hard to hold a book and lift weights.
Stay
you
focused,
can't do that. And I always read in bed too, and then I get really tired.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? Like read before you go to bed.
That works for some people, but if I read a book, usually I don't do it in bed because I won't fall asleep. I'll just keep reading.
Depends on the book too. Yeah. If I'm reading a good book, like I read through the Game of Thrones series, it was awesome series, but I couldn't put it down. It's too good.
See, that's how my wife's been. She's got this new author, Colleen Groover or something like that. It's a lot of the spouse wives and stuff are reading them. But yeah, she's read like 7 of the ladies' books and stuff. So she'll lay in bed and she's like, I couldn't stop.
Our boss writes books.
Yeah, Moon.
We gotta get him on here and talk.
I've read some of his books actually.
Yeah, pretty good.
I always thought they're
pretty heavy sance fiction. So you got to like science fiction. But
I like science fiction. I mean, I like Star Wars.
Chad
Chad probably won't like it because
Yeah, I probably won't say focused.
Yeah,
sci-fi's never been my thing, but I always used to joke with Moon when he was down south as a sergeant, that it would be funny if you had some rookie come in and Moon told him to fix his report because his narrative was off. And it's like, right. What do you do, old guy? Like, well, I'm kind of an author there, guy.
Yeah. So. A little bit of a writer.
Right.
When he gets famous, I've got one of his autographed books, the first one I bought from him.
Oh, no joke.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, he said that's his goal.
Yeah.
That's cool, though, man. That's cool.
He has a word goal. I see it posted on social media sometimes. Like, I wrote this many words out of my goal for the day or whatever. So
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I need to be more committed to things like that.
Right.
Let's write a book, Chad.
We should.
Or make a movie.
Probably
Coffee
better.
Break the movie.
Coffee Break the movie.
Right. You know what we need to do is we need to put
Wayne's
like
World.
a GoPro up here for everybody that walks in the door, and then they see like how this looks, and everybody's always like, "What? Whoa, wow," or something like that. So I think it's kind of
today. It's just the shirt that's making everybody do
it
that.
is pretty loud. This is
super loud.
This is gum shirt for the.
I know what it's for. It's just very bright.
Yeah, it is very bright. I picked pink because I like real men wear pink. So and it's not Wednesday, but either way.
Well, we talked about that a while back before we started, that pink used to be the color for boys, right?
Yeah.
Way back in the early 1900s. So
yeah, that's an interesting fact.
I don't know when it went away, but I probably learned that from a book. Trevor. So I got to read more books.
I need to read books.
I'm going to read one book a year. I'll start there. And then, I used to read a lot of books when I was a kid. Like I loved Goosebumps. Boxcar Children.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then they came out with those Animorphs books. Remember those?
Yeah, they had the cool covers.
Yeah, or you could flip the pages and you could see the person go from the person to whatever morph they were. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I've never understood why we call it fiction and nonfiction because it always confused me.
Why you call it fiction and nonfiction?
Yeah, because I would always have to think okay, nonfiction, that means not fake. So it's real. It's true. Right. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, fiction means made up, right?
Yeah.
Nonfiction.
Just call it all true and false.
If I read more books, I would probably know that. So.
I would point out, though, that this is called coffee time, and you didn't give me any coffee.
Well, this is called coffee break.
Oh, coffee break.
It's a break from coffee.
Yeah. This is called coffee break.
Yes.
And you didn't give me any coffee.
You didn't have any coffee, or you probably had coffee earlier today, right?
I've had many coffees.
So this is
today.
your break from coffee. No, you didn't have any coffee for this time.
This is, if DV Sex Crimes is watching this, they're probably going to give us a bunch of crap because they were the ones who started saying that we need to provide coffee to the guests and stuff. And we did that a couple times, but then like this last couple weeks,
it's just been busy.
It's been super busy, but
yeah, I made an assumption. So I've got at my office, I've got a half pot of coffee left, and had I known there was no coffee here,
you would already
brought my own.
We apologize.
Yeah, now we owe you coffee.
Yeah.
So
Crispin was saying we need to change it to lunch break,
so we can do wings
and bring like food on here.
Yeah,
and then you could have like a restaurant sponsor it. Give different food. Or
there you go.
Local restaurant of some sort.
Yeah, I would like that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, especially get some wings or something.
Yeah, man. I love
or if
wings.
there's any coffee roasters watching, they can, they can sponsor
if
coffee.
If you are a coffee roaster and you want to have your coffee featured on our podcast, email us at
policeweb at wichita.gov. So
do you have any I know we don't want to take up all your time today. We appreciate you coming on here, but do you have any like parting advice for motorists in Wichita? If there's like one piece of advice you can give people.
Well, we talked about like road rage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most of the laws we know, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of traffic laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but most of them we know boil down to be courteous,
right,
and drive safely around others. Right?
Yeah.
So, whether you stop behind the stop line or not, and what does that violate?
Yeah.
Or what is that violation? Does that constitute? It's far less important to know or have memorized than it is just be nice to people out on the road. And like talking about the merging, I mean, it really doesn't slow down your day any for someone to zipper merge right in front of you. Right.
Yeah.
So even, speeding doesn't really get you anywhere that much faster. For the distances that we normally commute. I mean, you're talking seconds.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it increases your chances of being in a wreck. And so, just drive safely and courteously, and then kind of the traffic laws will follow themselves. So
the golden rule,
right?
Treat others like you want to be treated.
Yeah, especially
on our roads.
We'll have to have you back once we get closer to inclement weather as well, because I know those guys and girls and everybody with the 4x4 trucks think that they can still go 90 when it's like icy out.
Yeah. It's not about how fast you can go. It's how fast you can stop.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly.
So friction value on ice is a lot less than the friction value on regular roadways. So
I hear you.
People forget how to drive in inclement weather every year.
Well, Sarge, we appreciate you coming. We know you're super busy and everything. And then we look forward to some more traffic tips and stuff. I know you guys are doing that as well. So we'll get you back on here soon.
All right.
We're going to take a refill and we'll be right back. We are back. That was Sergeant Brian Mock with the traffic. Dude,
that was Sergeant Brian Mock with the traffic.
Tyler. Oh my gosh, man, I'm all over the place today. It's all of a Monday. Trevor has got the case of the giggles already.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So, but that was Sergeant Brian Mock. Great dude. Very
knowledgeable.
We
could have talked for probably another hour or so about traffic, because there is a lot of rules. Traffic regulations,
bro, and we talked about it before. Another thing is like tailgating, like that.
Oh
that
my
gets
gosh,
all the time.
You remember that lady tailgating us on Kellogg?
Oh
my gosh, I still wake up in the middle of the night angry about that.
Well, we can get you to Impact and get you scheduled to talk to somebody.
I need to talk to somebody.
But yeah, just slow down. I mean, the biggest thing is you want to have that 2 to 3 second reaction. So it's all about how quick you can stop as opposed to how quick you can get there, like Sergeant Mock said. So
you got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready to stop. Yeah. And ready to.
You know what gets me too is so my daughter plays competitive softball, and even my son plays competitive baseball. Mm-hmm. And when we go to some of these events, the speed that parents drive in parking lots is just insane to me.
Yeah.
Like some of them are like 15 miles an hour does not seem fast when you're on a 40 mile an hour roadway. But when you're in a parking lot, 15 is fast. So, yeah, go ahead.
You know, the weird thing about parking lots is they're kind of like a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Like the rules really don't apply there because we can't really enforce anything other than DUI and handicap parking. So people get mad all the time about people like cutting people off in parking lots or not giving people the right of way, but there's really no.
Or even if like accidents, right?
Yeah.
You backing up, they backing up, crash.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not gonna do a case on that.
Yeah.
It's a private property accident. That's not even an actual motor vehicle collision.
But
we don't make the rules, folks. We just enforce them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of enforcement,
yes.
There's a unit in our traffic division, the motorcycles that are specialized in enforcing traffic. And I have a fun fact today about the motorcycles.
Is this WPD's fun fact?
Yes, it's WPD fun fact today. So the motors unit has been around since 2018.
Okay.
It's still pretty new.
Yes.
They did have a motors unit back in the day, but they got rid of it in 2001. And prior to now, the motorcycles were Kawasaki models.
Okay.
But now the motorcycles we use are Harley-Davidson Electric Glide motorcycles.
Oh.
They got 1,800 horsepower, Chad.
That's a lot.
Imagine.
Yeah, why would you want 1,800 horses? Like, that's a lot of horses.
That's a ranch, dude.
Yeah, that's a ranch. Yeah.
That's not just a vehicle. That's a ranch.
That's a lot. Are we talking about like Clydesdale horses?
Oh, is it a ranch or a stable?
Wouldn't it be a ranch?
Do you ranch horses or do you ranch
I don't know.
Cows?
That's a very, very fun.
Or do you ranch dressing? No one knows.
Right.
No one knows the answer to these questions.
So they've only been back 4 years. And the unit's significantly big, right? I think at least 6 to 8.
I don't remember the exact count. There's a few, and if you follow the Wichita Bad Drivers Facebook page, they'll tell you where they're at. Too.
Yes, they will.
They'll tell
2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. 2.0. Which I'd like to talk to whoever owns that page or manages that for a second. Why did you disable us from commenting? I just want to know.
I think it's probably because if we make a comment, they get a slew of comments after
we
that.
were in the group for like a year.
Yeah, we're still in the group.
We can see the post, but we can't comment, and it makes us sad because we love engaging with our community and engaging with the other the bad drivers of Wichita.
Yeah, because we were gonna post in there.
We're gonna start posting our traffic tips in there. It would have been great because that's
not just traffic tips, but when they're gonna do the traffic enforcements, right?
Yeah.
August 30th, they're doing one at Kellogg and Rock, but we can't post it in there because we can't make a comment.
Because we don't care if you know when we're going to do traffic enforcement. That's the whole thing is let you know that we're doing traffic enforcement so you don't drive the way that you're driving when you think we're not doing traffic enforcement.
Absolutely. You know, another thing that I saw on TikTok, and I've always wondered it always brings up arguments and stuff like that, or people get confused and everything. It's the whole calendar, right? So when does the day of the week start for you?
Oh, that's a good question. So going back to like my kindergarten roots, I always remember like the way the calendar looked there. And to me, the week starts on Sunday.
Right.
And so the weekend to me is like, it's like a bookend.
Yeah.
Or like whatever are those bookends on the bookshelves?
Yeah.
So it's like it's the end of each side of the week.
So it's Sunday to Saturday.
Sunday to Saturday.
Even though your weekend is always Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
But it starts Sunday, right?
Yeah, so my week starts Sunday.
So here's the question.
Okay.
If it's Friday today and I say, hey, next Monday, let's do lunch. Are you assuming that's 2 days from today? Or are you assuming that's 9 days from today?
No, that's the next coming Monday.
Okay. So if it's Sunday and I say next Monday, let's do lunch, is it tomorrow or is it 8 days from today?
It's 8 days from today.
But that's the very next Monday.
But you're saying next Monday because if you're in the week that the day is that you're talking about, then you just say Monday or Wednesday or Friday. So like today's Monday, right? I say, hey, let's get it lunch Friday.
Okay.
So that's this Friday.
Yeah.
Or if I say, let's get lunch next Friday, then that's the next week's Friday.
Absolutely. You know what? I think it's the weekend that kind of throws the hiccup in it, right? So if it's Wednesday and I say next Monday, let's get lunch.
You don't technically need to say next Monday.
Right.
But I understand you're saying the next coming Monday because we're still in this week. We're not in next Monday's week yet.
Yeah.
But really, you would just say Monday.
So at what point in your week does next Monday consider yourself
to me,
a week
when
plus?
I hear the word next, it's like I jump to the next week and then I find that day.
But the next week for you said Sunday starts your week. So Saturday, if I said next Monday, your Saturday's ending your week. The next Monday would be 2 days from then.
Yeah, because I haven't started the next week yet.
Right, but I asked you what you would expect. If I said next Monday, you said you would expect 9 days from that day.
Did I?
I'm pretty sure you did.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
I just think it's always
stand corrected.
Because sometimes, like even like my wife and I will have this debate, or I hear other people, like I said, hey man, we're Wednesday, let's do this, and then Wednesday gets there, like, oh man, I thought you meant next Wednesday. Like, bro, it was Saturday. Why would you assume it was like 14 days from today?
That's why anytime somebody says anything like that to me, because I don't know where other people's minds are at when they say stuff like that, so I confirm a date.
Gotcha.
I'm like, what date are you talking about?
Gotcha.
Because I don't know.
I just want to bring it up.
I don't know how your brain works.
I thought that was interesting. Speaking of interesting.
So you got some interesting stuff here.
I had our amazing liaisons with the municipal court. They printed me out some of the violations and the fines and stuff that you get based on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, based on traffic violations and stuff, at least for moving violations, and I think you might have some. So interesting. We said before, running the stop sign on a school bus, right, when a school bus is active, was like $400+ and stuff. And I think we stand corrected because I'm looking at this and it says fail to stop for a school bus either direction is a fine before court costs of $171.50.
Wow.
That's pretty expensive.
And before anybody says anything, we do not set these fines. Yes. The police department does not set fines. It's set by municipal court. So if you're looking to talk to somebody about why fines are what they are and how to change them or whatnot, We're not the guys to talk to.
That's not us.
That's not us. That's municipal court.
So people always ask when you pull them over for speeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how much is this? Sometimes the officer out there might not know, right?
I never knew.
Never knew. You'd have to call municipal court or call the number on your ticket, right? So here's one. If you are traveling 10 over, the fine is $121.50, and then you have court costs.
Wow.
Oh, no, my bad. This says speeding schedule of fines and court costs. So that's your whole ticket right there.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're driving 50 miles an hour over the speed limit, $321.50. But
you are probably not just getting a ticket.
Yeah, I can assure you,
if you're going 50 miles an hour
over, you're going to go to jail for that one.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. You're going to get your ticket. You're going to be booked.
Your license suspended, probably.
Yes. So, but yeah, those are little fun facts.
That's interesting. What do you think is one that sticks out to you as like the most interesting?
I don't know. You took it from me.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let me see briefly. Let's see. Follow too close. $121.50 is your ticket for following too close. You will get a ticket for this if you come to an intersection. Person in front of you slams on their brakes abruptly, and then you smash into them. You most likely would be found at fault for following too close, and you could get that citation.
Illegal dumping.
Ooh.
$371.50.
Yes.
That is a hefty fine.
Yeah. And we have that a lot. When I was CP, we had neighborhood associations that we would go to, and a lot of people would complain that they had illegal dumping going on too.
Oh yeah. So. It's certain areas of town, people just like, somebody keeps dumping mattresses under a bridge near my house.
Really?
And that's annoying.
Yeah. It's not bad. Those are like $20, I think, to take to the landfill. And
it's not expensive.
It's not $300+ worth of a fine. That's
right.
for sure.
It's way cheaper than the fine for illegal dumping. If I catch you dumping under my bridge,
like dumping trash.
Dumping trash, to be clear. I mean, anything, really. You shouldn't be dumping.
So that's very interesting, though, man. We really enjoyed Sergeant Mock being on the show. Lots of great traffic tips and stuff. Please pay attention to all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're getting good on that Tickety Talk. And we're going to go out today and get some photos of our school resource officers. School started back today.
Yes, school's back in session.
Yep. So we're going to end the podcast and go take some photos of your SROs. If you got a favorite SRO, your favorite school, shout them out in the comments, because we got SRO Myers did one a TikTok. So go Falcons.
And send your questions to policeweb@wichita.gov.
Yeah.
We had a question. I almost forgot.
Do you have one?
Yeah. Do you want to answer it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the question was, if you could drive any vehicle as a police vehicle, which vehicle would you choose?
So in our fleet now, or just anything?
I'm going to say, we'll do two parts. We'll do any vehicle at all, then any vehicle that's currently in our fleet.
I'm probably taking vehicles. Like a big pickup truck, like a quad cab pickup truck.
Gas mileage though.
I mean, I don't pay the gas.
Well,
you know what I mean. But yeah. If you're talking about now, we have to think about logistics and how much gas.
I mean, I'm just saying.
What kind of question is this, Trevor? Like,
so what about in our current fleet?
In our current fleet, man, I like the Tahoe.
The Tahoe? Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Tahoe fan.
No?
No. Current fleet, I'm going with the Charger.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
You see some of those.
Give me that V8 Charger.
Yeah.
It's got some get up and go.
Some of the agencies across America have like smart cars and stuff, like Priuses and everything.
Yeah, no. Not for me.
Yeah. Well, my big behind ain't getting it.
Well, where are we going to charge them?
You imagine that?
The Applebee's at 47th and Broadway.
Right.
They got Tesla chargers.
I'm sure
there.
like you'd have to put them at the departments or something like that.
If I could have any car in the world, though, probably a Aston Martin DB12.
For a police car?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Nah, man.
Get it tricked out like James Bond with some like Gatling guns.
You're going to fit an MDT in there, the computer?
Yeah.
You're going to fit all that in there?
James Bond did it.
Did he?
He had oil slicks and ejector seats and everything.
One of my favorite movies is oh my God, the Paul
It's
Walker
not Star
films.
Wars.
No,
I know that. Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. The second one, Tyrese, cool dude. My favorite line from him is they have an ejecto seat and ejector seat.
Ejectocito,
cuz. Like that's
a good.
That's my favorite one.
That's a great line.
But anyway, man. We'll look forward to it. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Next week, we'll look forward to seeing y'all. Please like, share, subscribe.
Send in your questions.
And send in your questions to policeweb@wichita.gov. But we'll see y'all later. Peace.
Bye.